Okay, today we're going to look at this Chrysler Town and Country light switch, headlight switch. Went bad on the car. Let's see, 103,000 miles. Was driving home from work, and actually this happened a while ago. We're using the car, and they just went out. Thought it was an odd thing, maybe blew a fuse. Came home. You know, we held the headlight light on, pull the lever towards you, and it's like your flash to pass, but you hold it and it keeps the headlights on, the high beam. So it kept them on. We got home, and the next time I checked it, they were fine. They were good for a month or two. And then I was coming home from work the other night real late, and the lights just went out coming down the 4-lane. So I had to do the same thing, hold it on. So called the auto parts store the next morning, $55 for the switch. So, okay. So I got one, but I'm going to still tear this thing apart and and see what the deal is. I want to see what we were looking at in there if we were to try to just fix it ourselves. So popped it out of the dash. It was actually pretty straightforward. Went in from the left side. There's a panel there. Take a couple screws out. Now some people show taking the whole panel off, including across the front and the bottom, but I found you just take the bottom or the panel loose, kind of pry it towards the rear of the car and get your hand in there. And especially once you know what it looks like, you can squeeze these tabs and pop the thing out. So it pops out the front. 2 cables connect to it. On the back side, there's a connector here. And of course, there's a connector that goes onto in our case, we have the power side mirrors, one on the right and one on the left. So that module is not included when you buy a new one. So you pop that out, put that in here. So I was able to remove that, connect it up. I did this in the parking lot of the auto parts store, so it was no big deal. But looking at the switch, okay, we're going to take it apart. So I did. There's connectors, or just basically clips around the perimeter here. Real easy to pop those out. And that's where we're at right now. We got that far. That's when I decided might as well record this and show other people what they're up against if they want to tear into it. So you can see how this works. This turns, and there's, it's a 3-position switch. Interesting. This here, you can see the circuit board. Here's the dimmer. And you could feel the detents for the clicks for the lights. This actually dims interior lights. You can turn it the whole way to they're off all the time, or you can dim them, take up the full brightness. And then there's 2 clicks for, I think the one's medium, and then I think full brightness, or no, on all the time is what that one is. That's right. So yeah, so they work, and that continued to work. So I had no trouble with that. It was just this rotary switch here. So let's take a look at what we got under here. Circuit board has a couple surface mount. They're so small it's hard to tell what they are, but they look like in the case of right here, those are resistors. I can definitely see that. I was thinking maybe there was some capacitors in here, small surface mount capacitors, because of for the switch, across the switch for sparking, possibly. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and take these out. Okay, there's 2 screws. We'll set those aside. Okay, now we look underneath. I'm going to flip this over as if it was here this way, and you can see what we're up against. So let me move this really up close so you can see where we're at. I hope I can keep that in focus. Yeah, so the wheel, let me bring that up. You see how the wheel has ramps, high and low spots. So they match up with these fingers that when they're at rest, they're closed. That's the way it works. When they're at rest, they're closed. So whenever the lights are all off, I believe when you put it in that position, all these ride up on a ramp, and then they open up, and of course then you don't have lighting. I think it's probably so it fail-safes maybe somehow into all the lights are on, which would be good if that's the case. First thing I noticed when I opened this up is there was grease. had this open before, and there were grease on here on these the round part of the fingers, which slide on there, and of course you can see the grease on there. You know, it got onto the here and here. Now, what I've been interested to know is that just for lubrication. So what I was going to do, I haven't done this yet. I'm looking around for my meter, if I can find one here. Hold on a second. Okay. So let's kick on the meter. Let's see if it's going to work. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we get any kind of reading. What I'm looking for, I'm just curious if this is conductive grease or not on there, because, okay, I'm getting nothing on there. Now, if I smear some of that onto here, now obviously if I touch, if I feel the metal touching, it does work, but if the metal touches, I can definitely tell, but it's not conductive through the, at least as far as I can tell, it's not really conductive through the grease. So I'd say that's just lubrication. Well, the reason I check that, and what I think is going on, is over time, if you think about it, this is mounted this way in the car. Okay, it's this, you know, vertically mounted so that the switch works. Think about it this way, okay? So, gravity, heat, you know, baking in the sun in the summer, that grease makes it over onto these fingers. And then it migrates itself down the finger and into the contact area. If you were to feel these, there's not much spring action on those. I speculate that what's going on is that grease migrates down in there, you know, and here again, it's a lubricant. It's supposed to create a film. I think it's creating a film in there, not allowing it to make contact. One thing I will say is when the switch was not working, if you played around with it, smacked it, you could most of the time get the light to turn back on. So I really do believe it was something that simple. So I think instead of $53 or $55, the first thing I think I should have tried was taking this apart, got some TV tuner cleaner or whatever that stuff is, shot in there, you know, pressed these down a little bit, shot it in there, cleaned it up, did a continuity test, verified it was good, put it back in the car. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing, what, another 40,000 miles maybe? I would have been good. I would have been ahead of the game. So if you want to take that chance, go for it. I don't know. It's headlights. To me, it was a security issue with the family, so I just went ahead and put a new switch in. I don't know. I think it might be worth a shot. I really don't see anything else that would cause a problem. There's no burning on the board. There's no shorting. I know everything else in the electrical system's fine. So there it is. Chrysler, this is it was a Chrysler Town and Country 2006. I believe this switch was over a good number of years though. Relatively easy to find. So there you go. Thanks for watching.